Hey guys, welcome back to the preview show. As always, I'm your host, Nico Sorrell, and I'm joined today with Hunter Thomas and Trevor Staub. Welcome back from your West Coast tour. How are y'all feeling today?
Feeling good. A little tired. I woke up, my son woke me up at 6:15 this morning, which was 3:15 body time, because we've been on the West Coast time for 2 weeks. So not enough coffee in the world to wake me up right now. But I'll try, thanks to Third Wave.
I similar. Feel very very jet lagged. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I feel very jet lagged right now, but I'm excited to be back in the studio. Always good to after doing podcasting on the road, it feels good to have our setup, and I'm excited to talk about some disc golf.
All right, well then let's get her done. So our course preview, it is going to be the Dynamic Discs Open. It's going to be at only Emporia Country Club this year, and the weather looks like it's about 89 degrees, low of 65, not going to be too bad. The wind doesn't look like it's going to be a factor this week.
Yeah, not bad.
There's a slight chance of rain on Saturday, but I don't really think it's going to factor in too much to the play. Trevor, what changes are you seeing for this weekend?
Yeah, so ECC, the big changes this year, obviously getting away from Jones Supreme. A lot of people didn't really like that course, so I think that was kind of a smart decision. Another thing is, this year, the weather looks like a huge factor in the fact that wind, the steady wind prediction doesn't look like any more than 7, 8, 9, which is very low. I mean, if you remember this event last year, it was the event that all year last year we referred to it as oh yeah, that was DDO though, because it was so windy. Now, granted, you still got to go out there and play disc golf.
It prompted Drew Gibson to tweet something along the lines of
we shouldn't be playing.
This isn't even disc golf anymore.
Right. There was some frustration out there. So wind doesn't look like nearly, it'll still be there, but not like it was last year where it was unplayable. So that's good. As far as course changes go, there's only a few. One of the notable ones is last year, if you remember, hole 4. Oh, another notable change. It's only 3 rounds this year instead of 4. Yes. Last year they went 2 at Jones, 2 at ECC. This year, just 3 at ECC. Last year, hole 4, if you remember, this was kind of notorious as a 598-foot downhill, slightly downhill, par 3, which was a bit ludicrous. And even without the wind, there was OB left and right. I don't think anybody was going to get it. But with the wind last year, it was even more comical because it's now it's a difficult par 4, and it was playing as par 3. So that they've changed to a 433-foot par 3. It looks like they just moved the tee up, which is okay because the shot was fine. It just needed to be closer. Other switches I saw hole 10 switch from a par 3 to a 4, moving from 330 feet to 585 feet. A new hole 11 that is also still a par 3. Some other minor tweaks as far as some holes shifting on the back nine. It looked tough to tell just comparing the flyovers to the caddy books, but very similar course. And 16, 17, 18, the iconic finish are still look to be intact. So nothing crazy different about this course. It'll be the ECC basically that we know and love. I think this is a good course. I think with the wind not being so crazy, it'll be fun to watch because it is a good course.
Well, the only thing that'll be interesting is it looked like, at least the weather report I looked at, thunderstorms Saturday, Sunday, a chance of scatter.
It's pretty low chance.
And what that means is if that does roll in,
could bring in some
wind.
You
could see, some wind, but also delays and all the fun stuff that comes with that. I mean, we just saw, what was it, in Montana or Missouri, wherever it was, got canceled.
Right.
Final round MPO. We've seen that at tournaments before. So again, it doesn't look like there's super high chances, but it could favor the person that comes out hot because it does look like Friday is possibly the best scoring conditions. So round 1, player comes out hot. That this tournament definitely going to favor that player if things go south.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, hopefully it stays clear. Yeah, don't want another canceled final round. I hate that.
So Ricky, coming off of his 9th place finish at Portland, which is pretty impressive considering he hasn't been playing the entire beginning of the season, based on his knowledge of the course and his previous experience winning it last year, where do you guys see him finishing this weekend?
I like Ricky at this event. I mean, obviously last year he was able to navigate it in the wind. You see a lot of shots. There's a good bit of forehands on this course. There's also, last year, he had a lot of success with his kind of force-over, turnover backhands. You see a couple fairways like hole 2 where you got to, get a disc over to the fairway and then let it play out. There's some roller opportunities as well. He's a good roller player. So a balanced game like Ricks does well at this course. He knows it well. Correct me if I'm wrong. He won Worlds at this course. Did he not?
2016.
Yeah. So, he's got history there as well. So, yeah, you got to like Rick. It seems like he might not be back fully, but he has certainly still been very competitive. So I certainly think he'll have success at this event.
Yeah, I think one of the key factors with Ricky at this event is he's back on Team Dynamic Disc coming into this. And there is something to be said of like a hometown effect in disc golf. Obviously, this isn't his actual hometown, but like when Paul goes to D-Glow or Ledgestone, you feel like he has a better chance, and a lot of times it almost feels like a stroke or two boost.
There's like subliminal energy.
Just because, exactly. Like
home field advantage.
You show up, you have literally the owners of the company there. You get to like walk through the warehouse. You might have some new discs. They're showing you like you feel that energy of like you're back home. And with that being this tournament, I do think the course plays well for Rick too. I think with that, he'll have the support of Emporia behind him as well, because also a lot of the fans there are going to be Trilogy fans. Trilogy fans are going to love Rick, so he'll have the hometown crowd too. A lot of stuff plays in his favor. I'm not going to say exactly where I think he's going to end up, but I would say top 10 for sure feels good. Top 5, very possible.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
All right,
absolutely.
Cool. I was actually checking on YouTube this morning, and Carter Aarons, he's 16 years old, I believe, and he's absolutely just coming, like he's just a prodigy out there in the sport right now. Mm-hmm. And he did his practice round with Rick, and Rick was giving him his inside, like veteran look at the course and how to play it.
It's valuable.
Do you think that Carter Aarons could possibly take this event down or place in the top 5?
I think it's gonna be tough to say he could take it down, but like he could definitely come top 5. I mean, one of the big things about this kid is his distance, and obviously Emporia requires a lot more than just distance, but that's one of the big things out there is distance. And one of the big things it also allows is when you have that big distance, you can power down and get really good golf level distance with a lot more accuracy. So I think this course plays well for him. I don't think he's going to take
Team
it down.
Dynamic guy as well.
I believe so.
Think so,
but I'm not going to throw that out there. But
probably why he was playing.
While he's playing with Rick. But I don't think he's going to take it down. I mean, sure he could, but that would be an incredible bold prediction to say he's going to take it down. Yeah. It won't surprise me if he ends up on Chase Card or something like that and finishes in the top 15 or top 20, which I think is a great success for him this weekend. Yeah. If he can do that. But he's been having a lot of success recently, so there's no reason to think he's not going to continue.
Yeah, this Carter Aarons guy is legit. He's legit. And it's this like, this is kind of what's becoming disc golf, where I think like almost every year we're going to start seeing people pop up like this. People thought Gannon Buhr was a unicorn, and by no means am I undervaluing Gannon Buhr. He's incredible and super young. He won a major super young as well, which is a whole nother level to this thing. But Carter Aarons oozes confidence out there. He looks very sure of what he's doing. I've been very impressed so far, and he's shown some consistency as well at the top level. I think everybody needs to keep an eye on Carter Aarons, because he seems like one for the future, no doubt. I think practicing with Rick, I'd be curious to know how many players. I mean, you're a younger player. Like, I think he has the Team Dynamic connection. I hope I'm right in saying that. I'm going to have to double check that. But so that may have been kind of offered to him. But I think that younger players seeking out veterans to play courses, especially at ECC, where like it's been around for so long, there is a way to play it well. And especially somebody who has a lot of success there, they're probably going to have a pretty good idea on how to play it well. So I think that's really wise. I mean, super young, super talented. Winning is a stretch for sure. It just wouldn't surprise me to see him take one down soon, though. Like, he certainly has already become a player that's kind of threatening those podiums. So, yeah, really, really one to keep an eye on right now as far as the next one to come up. And I really love this trend of, like, just young players going to the moon. Right now. I mean, we just had Evan Scott. He's young as well. Just won at Zootown. So it's... we won it at Zootown. No, I'll give it to him. He was up by a lot.
Hey, he did everything you could do.
No, I'd hand it to him. But yeah, it's just really exciting seeing these young players. And man, if you're those veterans in the field and you're hanging on to those top 30s, top 40s, it's scary times.
Well, I think this is where think what you want about the team aspect of disc golf. You probably know where we stand on it, but this is something where the team aspect does come in, because if I'm Dynamic Disc, Carter Aarons is a Dynamic Disc guy, just double checked. If I'm Dynamic Discs, of course I want my veterans and the players knowing the course to be feeding into my young talent.
Yeah.
Because that builds loyalty, especially if it's Jeremy Rusko or someone else at Dynamic reaching out saying, hey, would you want to play a practice round with Rick? Like, we can schedule that for you. Like, if it's through the brand and it's not just Rick reaching out himself, like, that builds loyalty to Dynamic. But beyond that, like, if I'm on Team Discraft and you have a veteran on tour like Paul Ulibarri offering, hey, like, Yuli's the team captain. Hey, let me play a practice round with you. I've played this course, literally probably 15 times. I can really walk you through since it's your first time out there. Like, the team aspect, I understand that doesn't really exist in the sport, but this is where it does. Is the team aspect comes from the manufacturers want all the players under this umbrella to succeed. And something like this, where you do have a veteran player showing a new player the ropes a lot, sure, that could happen. Like, Nate Sexton could have went out and played around with Carter Aarons. Wouldn't have been weird.
Yeah.
But within that team aspect, it's a lot more likely to happen, and that's invaluable. I mean, you see it in NBA and stuff like that, where you have the like Vince Carters of the world that, sure, when he's older, he doesn't really have that much value on the court, but his off the court leadership as a veteran is where his value is. I think that's where a lot of, the players of my day, I guess, are able to transition into, like, sure, Yuli's not going to go out there and win 4 Pro Tour events. He probably won't win 1 Pro Tour event a year, but he's very valuable to Discraft in that he's been on tour for a long time. True. He knows these courses in and out. He knows how to manage his time, energy, courses out there, and he can feed into the young talent Discraft's bringing in and grow them, to be possibly even greater than he was. And I think that's where the veterans and the team aspect can come into disc golf a lot more.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, he is the youngest player to reach 1,000 rated.
I believe that was true.
I think it was 1,015.
That was like 2015. That was like
I think it was like Gannon had
1,000 rated.
Yeah, but it was like he was like he reached 10-15 at like
he was 15 and like
old.
4 months.
Yeah, which is just crazy.
I wonder who's gonna be the youngest to reach 10-16. Or where do we stop keeping track?
It's like,
I think right now he's 10-7.
It's like if you follow the ESPN stats and info on Twitter, like they just like find these statistics where like, did somebody just spin a wheel to like figure that out? But yeah, that's what Statmando is for. It's entertaining.
Yeah. Going into a little early dark horse talk here. Brodie Smith last year finished in 3rd, and he was on the lead card going into the final round.
It's exciting times. Down 2, I think, and I think after like the first hole, he was only back 1. We were like, here it is.
Then the very next hole, he like
we don't have to worry about farther.
But then he held his own. He pulled it back together and took 3rd.
Except he had that unlucky, what was it, a raptor throw? That was on like your hyzer, and the wind literally was like,
it was crazy out there.
You're out. But he now has, thank you Disc Golf Pro Tour, he has 2 top 15 finishes in a row on the Pro Tour. Is he going to keep that streak alive? Can we see him on lead card? Is he going to finish in the top 5?
I think what played to his advantage a lot last year was the wind. I think that the wind made everyone think, and when players have to think, that comes a lot in Brodie's favor. Brodie's a golfer through and through.
Are you saying that he doesn't think?
No, I'm saying Brodie does think.
Easier for him?
I'm saying the rest of the field doesn't think.
Yeah.
I'm saying when the field has to think, that plays in Brodie's favor. Gotcha. Brodie's a golfer through and through, and the majority of the field's disc golfers. With that being said, with the wind down, I don't think that plays in Brodie's favor. I don't think this course requires thinking, but not.
There's a lot of OB out there.
There's a lot of OB, but a lot of times your approach shot isn't nearly as scary as we've seen at some of the other courses Brodie succeeded at. And I think that's where the errors can come in, because here, realistically, if you have a really bomb forehand hyzer and a really bomb backhand hyzer, you can throw some type of hyzer into the fairway, some type of hyzer into the green, tap out. That's what you can do out here, and I think that's what a lot of disc golfers just know how to do, is their body knows how to throw a hyzer. The wind last year made everyone think, and I think that's what brought Brodie up. So I'm not going to say he can't finish in the top 15, but because Brodie could win any tournament he wants.
His jumper is looking nasty right now.
Sure, it's going to take more than that though out there, and so I'm not going to say he can't, but the factors aren't set up for him to come out and finish in the top 3 again. We also have to remember Worlds was at this course last year too. He wasn't in the top 3.
41st at Worlds last year.
So the difference between between DDO and Worlds was the weather conditions.
Yep.
So in my opinion, we're looking more at Worlds coming into this year and less at last year's DDO.
Yeah.
And so I think a top 25 would be a really good finish for Brodie.
Yeah, I did most of my previewing looking at Worlds because you mentioned with the weather. I think that there is, like, on paper, you look at the course and you see all the OB and hazard spots and, like, well, they're not hazards, but a lot of them, there's like circular OB cutouts, I'll call them.
Yeah.
And you think to yourself, ooh, this is like a really got to think golf style course. But ECC's been around long enough that there is kind of a pretty standard way to play those holes. It's not like we're walking into the Open at Austin and everybody's trying to figure out where their landing zones are. And like Hunter mentioned, the greens aren't as tricky. There's also a lot of long par threes, which I don't really know how much that plays into Brodie's favor. There's quite a bit of hyzers. I think if he's going to have to rely more on throwing well than he has in like some of these past events. Probably being a course that's been around a little bit longer, maybe a little bit less of that strategy involved, but there's still enough of it. And I think it's still kind of his type of course to where I could for sure see a top 25. Like I could, he's got some momentum if he even believes in that. But I still like him at this event, but yeah, I think it could be a little misleading to think that it's the same type of situation he's been in the last few weeks. But yeah, it's like this course is very much about angle control. There with the long par threes and like just some interesting landing areas in the par fours. You just have to get like your turnovers to flex out at the right time. You got to get your hyzers to pop up just the right amount. There's a lot of that kind of situation, and so that's what Brodie's going to have on.
Okay, awesome. Well, that's going to do it for our MPO storylines. But before we get into our FPO, Trevor, what can you tell us about disc boxes?
Yeah, we got a quick word from one of our sponsors of the show, Disc Box. So many disc golfers have tons of extra discs cluttering up our closets and cars. That's definitely true of me. I've got like a bunch of them here at my desk, just chilling there. There are not many storage products on the market that are designed specifically for golf discs and that don't waste any space. And unfortunately, the ones that do exist are terribly expensive. Thankfully, there is Discbox. Discbox is the only low-cost disc storage product on the market. You can go to discboxdg.com and you will find quantity discounts, wholesale options, multiple colors, and most importantly, no order minimums, which is huge. So you can order just a single box if you want. Discbox also makes great players pack item. Visit discboxdg.com today and get your collection organized. Use code FOUNDATION for 15% off your order. I can attest they're very nice boxes. I have a few. Great for storage. So yeah, code FOUNDATION for 15% off your order. Thanks again to Discbox for sponsoring the show.
Yeah, that sounds like I really need to go pick up one because
they're a great time.
My car is
there are a few things
full.
more satisfying than taking like a cluttered collection of discs and getting them all in just like uniform boxes and stacking them up. It makes you feel very professional.
Yeah. All right, so in our FPO, this is the week that Valerie Mandujano returns.
Finally.
It is going to be
crazy.
Awesome. What are your expectations for her this weekend? Trevor will go first.
Here's my number one expectation is to tell us what the heck happened. If somebody in that press conference doesn't do their due diligence and like be like, hey, Val, so what happened there? Like what happened from 4 to 6 week ankle sprain to like 4 to 6 months ankle sprain? Like what happened there? Like that's the number one thing I need to figure out.
What could it be?
I'm guessing
a
re-injury more than likely, or it was just misdiagnosed and it was more serious, like there was a break or something. But either way, we got to figure that out. Expectations for play. This is a tough one because last year, a lot of success out there, some wins. Val is a very smooth, very accurate player. When her putt is going, that's when she's playing best. She can keep it in bounds. Not a very good distance player. If I'm assuming the ankle is at full health, so I won't even say she won't have as much distance as before but sometimes there can be trust with injuries. I remember when Gannon Burr first came back from obliterating his knee when we met him, he was still like struggling with his forehand because he just didn't trust it. So that can be a factor. The field has had some time to evolve a little bit since she's last played. We have some other names that have emerged. Last year, it was like she was kind of one of 3 or 4 players that we were ever really talking about. This year, we got to talk a little bit more about Kat Mertz. We got to talk a little bit more about Sayananda now, kind of making moves. Holland Handley. So I think that I don't have high expectations, but that's okay because I don't think anybody should have high expectations. I don't think she should either. I know she's very competitive and she's going to want to, probably get right back into it and be competing for wins again. But I think realistically, a top 10 would be a great a great thing. Like playing some solid golf, top 10, that would be great. I do not expect her to be able to compete right away. I would be astonished if she did for wins.
I think the only reason she won't compete for a win is because Kristen Tatar is still in the field. I think that other than that, she's the next best player in the field, personally. Just from what we've seen previously. Also, when you're injured, typically the one thing you can do is putt.
True.
But also basing this on just completely
over under C1X putting.
I'm basing this on a complete fictional imagination of what her past 3 or 4 months have looked like, and it's a lot of putting. And so if her putt is on, she's historically been one of the best, most accurate players in the game. And an FPO typically, if you're really accurate and you putt well, it doesn't matter if you don't have the distance. Even on a course like this. Owen Scoggins is a great example. She competes at tournaments as she probably shouldn't because she keeps the disc in bounds and she makes her putts. Mm-hmm. I think Valerie Mandujano has a little more distance than Owen, so I think that on a course like this, she can throw not quite to the Holland Hanley, Ella Hansen level, but she can throw to the Kristen Tatar level. And I would imagine we're about to pick Kristen Tatar to win this thing.
What?
So if she can throw at that level and distance-wise, and she her putts on, there's no reason she couldn't push for a win. I don't think she's going to because I think Kristen's going to win. But I think Valerie Mandujano makes some noise and is in the top 5.
Okay.
I'd love to see it.
Yeah. Kind of recapping on last preview show and talking about this week, Holland Hanley and Ella Hansen, like, as much as I want to like them for this event, like, need some distance, it seems like every time that it's like a distance focused course that they just aren't getting there, like getting over that hump. What do you think is like holding them back? Just accuracy, I guess.
Yeah, accuracy and putting.
I have no idea.
Well, I think it's just accuracy and putting. I mean, I think we just get a little excited when we see a little distance on a course, like, oh, here we go. But I think at the end of the day, their consistency has a lot less to do. This happens with a lot of distance players where it's like their consistency has a lot less to do with, or their success has a lot less to do with courses that they're playing, and a lot more to do with, like, if you're putting,
it's just if they're on or
if
not.
you're putting really specifically, if your putting is your struggle, it doesn't matter if the course sets up well, because most of the circles from 30 feet in look the same. Like, it's just you in the basket, so you can throw away plenty of strokes to offset any kind of course advantage you might have. So yeah, I think that we're just going to learn our lesson that you can't just say, oh, well, the course plays a little far. Yeah. Jump on that train. So
I haven't jumped on the Ella Hansen train yet this season, I don't think. And
I tried.
I don't plan to. I think Holland Hanley's the new Ella Hansen, and I think that
was fast.
She's fading quick, and there's probably about to be a new Holland Hanley to replace both of them.
Do you have a prediction on who that's going to be?
Not yet.
Okay.
But
still in progress.
We'll keep you posted.
The thing is, like, at the end of the day, there is an advantage to distance. Everything Trevor just said is true. That advantage can be easily wiped out by a number of things. Mm-hmm. Form timing, putting, so on and so forth. But if you get the right course with the distance and their timing's on, then they could dominate. I don't know what the heck's going on. I keep to be completely honest with you, FPO field just confuses me week in and week out, because
the most
every player that I think is going to do really well doesn't, except for Kristen. Every player I think is going to do well doesn't do well, and then players that I'm like, well, there's no shot they're going to do good out here, they win. So I don't know what the frick's going on. I'm not going to stay away from Holland Handley yet. I am going to keep Ella Hansen at like a 15-foot pole.
Okay.
She's not going to be written on my sheet until she wins something. So probably not the rest of the year.
Oh, so I just want to know, do y'all have either one of those in your?
I have
FPO
one of my
picks?
top 3.
I do not.
I can't.
It's
I
not
don't
Ella
know.
Hansen,
I don't know
but
who it would be. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do
that
not.
gives it away. So we talked about Kristen a little bit, and so I could sit here and tell you that she, through 3 of the 4 rounds at Portland, she tied the second place final total at 21 down.
Great stat.
That's a great stat.
Great stat.
She won Zootown Open last week at 26 down, won by 4 strokes. I could tell you that and ask you, what do you think she's doing well? Instead, this week, I'm going to ask you, what would prevent her from winning this event? Because I feel like she's just the favorite every week that she's playing.
She is at a point in her career like Paul was in 2015, really even leading up to 2015, where, and we've said this multiple times, and throughout this season, I still stand by it. No one beats Kristen Tatar. Kristen Tatar beats herself. The only way Kristen loses is if she doesn't play her game. If Kristen comes out and plays good golf, not great golf, if Kristen comes out and plays good golf, she wins. Yeah. It's when she has like one or two bad rounds for Kristen that someone else could even think about winning. But if Kristen goes out and plays rounds of golf that she's genuinely happy with, she's like, yeah, you know what? I felt like I played pretty good today. She will win by 6 or 7 strokes every weekend. No one, it's just the evolution of disc golf. She is doing, we thought Paul and Paige were the same player. That is not true. I thought Paige Pierce was the Paul McBeth of FPO. We weren't there yet. I think Kristen Tatar is the Paul McBeth of FPO. And what I mean by that is Paul came in, he treated the game differently than everyone else. He pushed the game to a new level. 2015, Paul had the greatest season that we will probably ever see in disc golf. And what it forced to do was everyone else had to choose to get bitter or get better. And we saw players like Rick. We saw other players get better. And what we see now is now it requires everyone's absolute best in MPO. Like Ricky can't show up and play good golf and win. Ricky has to play great golf and win. Same with Heimberg, same with Gannon, same with Paul, same with anyone. It requires great golf by the entire field for someone to win. FPO, I think that's what we're witnessing right now, is Kristen saying, I'm here, I've arrived, I'm treating this like a real sport, I'm treating this like a professional athlete, I'm treating my body right, I'm treating my training right, I'm treating my nutrition right, I'm taking this seriously. And she's looking at the rest of the FPO field being like,
adapt
hey,
and get out of the way.
Look, I'm here until someone pushes me out of the way. So it's up to you. And what we're seeing is I think we're seeing a new era start to rise because we're not seeing it out of Katrina Allen. We're kind of seeing glimpses of it out of Paige Pierce. But I mean, I don't think Paige Pierce isn't playing this. I think she's at a music festival this weekend.
Yeah.
Like, what the frick's going on there?
Hey, stay focused.
So,
come on, man.
Yeah.
Real
So
G's moving
we are seeing it, though. Sayananda's coming onto the scene. We're seeing Cat Merch come onto the scene. We're seeing other players step up and being like, hey, if no one else is taking that spot, I'm here. I'm ready. And so I think give it another year or so, and we're going to see FPO start to look a lot more like MPO, where Kristen can't just show up and play decent golf and win anymore. But until that happens, she can.
Yeah, the bar is high. Everything we've heard from people that have been around Kristen, like during tournaments, is that her routine is like serious business. Like she takes it so seriously. She treats it like a professional sport. And, when you do have as much success and make as much money as she does playing disc golf, then you should treat it like a professional sport. She has to beat herself. It's sometimes in her game, anytime I see cracks in her game, it's like, I think sometimes she can let the bad shots snowball. And I think you'll see like one OB shot turn into a poor up shot and a missed short putt. If that is like the only way that things happen, but if she can like throw a bad shot and quickly erase that, then that at times is avoided a lot. That's where you see those bad rounds. But then we've also seen her have a round like that where things kind of snowball and then come back the next round and kind of recoup. So yeah, very hard to beat right now. Very hard.
If I'm any of the young FPO players, even veteran FPO players at this point, just as Carter Aarons got a round in with Rick and got to learn a little bit about how he would play a course, I would be going to Kristen, and if she's willing to give me tips or her mindset or anything about her routine, I'd go, like, I need that.
I would too.
That's what I'd be looking for.
If I were Kristen, I wouldn't give any up.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's a weird thing because, like, when we say that, I said it about Paul back probably before I even had Grip Lock to speak on, but, like, it doesn't mean that the other players aren't taking it seriously. It's that the field doesn't know what it means to take it seriously. Because that's what happened in 2015 was it's not like Sexton and I'm trying to think who else was, Avery Jenkins, Jeremy Cole. It's not like they weren't taking disc golf seriously. It's just that Paul came in and was like, no. This isn't how you take this sport seriously. I'm going to treat it like I'm a professional golfer. I'm going to treat it like I'm making way more than I'm making. I'm going to treat it like this is like everything. This is my entire life. And I'm going to push the sport till I can make what I want to make. And look at the dude now. He just signed a 10-year, $10 million deal. He did it, right? That, I think, is what we're seeing in Kristen. Is like, it's not like the rest of the field isn't taking it seriously. It's just what it looks like to take it seriously is different now because Kristen's come in and said, hey, the bar you thought was here, I just pushed it to here. And so now I can live a little bit below my bar and still be above yours. So you have to raise your bar to get to me. That's what Paul did in 2015. I think that's what Kristen is
land among
doing
the stars
right now. So.
Heck yeah, baby. All right, well, good stuff. Hunter, what can you bring us our bold predictions, and they're presented by Third Wave Coffee. What can you tell us about Third Wave?
Yeah, Third Wave Coffee has been essential today specifically as I'm trying to recover from West Coast time. But Third Wave Coffee is actually my brother's coffee shop. They're a local roaster and coffee shop here in the Forest, Virginia area. So if you're ever stopping by our shop, they're literally 2 minutes up the road. Swing by and say what's up. But if not, you can still head to their website. They're committed to ethical and sustainable sourcing for all of their coffee, and they have 20 single origin coffees from all over the world in stock right now. If you don't know what a single origin coffee is, essentially instead of a blend, it means this is like an Ethiopian Yirgacheffe natural. Like this is from one specific single origin. It's the way coffee should be. Plus, they just released a new Bogey Rose blend, which is not a single origin. It's 3 single origins blended together to combine a bunch of different tasting notes to make you a cup that you will enjoy, whether you're just dipping your toes in specialty coffee for the first time or you're a specialty coffee enthusiast. This coffee is built for everyone. And for our listeners, they're offering 20% off your order with code DISCGOLF, one word, DISCGOLF. So head over to third-wave.coffee and pick something up again today. Again, that's third-wave.coffee. You can also check the link in the description down below. Thanks to them for sponsoring the show. My bold prediction is basically due to the weather.
Okay.
So if the weather doesn't pick up, my bold prediction's out the window. But if the weather does pick up, I think similar to last year's DDO, we see a top 10 player miss cash.
Okay. Okay.
Not really that bold, to be honest with you. I think it's probably going to happen.
I've got a pretty wild and bold prediction.
Okay. Trevor's been hyping this bold prediction up.
I've been itching.
I saw this and I was like, I was kind of shocked.
Another revelation at the desk.
There is somebody playing in this event that has not played professional disc golf for quite some time.
Okay.
Eric McCabe is
he's
playing.
back.
He is playing
Wow.
DDO. I'm gonna make sure, like in the time since I've checked this, that his tee time hasn't disappeared. But I saw a tee time for Eric McCabe, and I was like, now wait a second, what is EMAC doing playing this event?
Heck yeah.
What's
your bold prediction that he's going to win?
He's winning it, man.
No.
That's what I'm hearing.
So, yeah, there he is. Eric McCabe. So, Eric McCabe has not played an NT or higher since GBO in 2018, 5 years ago. And that was the only NT he played that year. He really hasn't been in professional disc golf in a long time. So, my prediction is with the course knowledge, he takes the top 25.
Okay. I don't think that's that bold. Make it top 10.
Top 25 for EMAC,
Top 25
who
is
hasn't
bold.
played a pro
Dirty
event.
spin putt and used to putting in Kansas. Easy.
You can try and downplay it if you want, but you know that's
Push it to top 10.
No.
Top 10's bold.
Top 25 is still bold. he's like in his upper 40s probably. Hasn't played an NT or better in 5 years. Doesn't play professional disc golf.
Does he get
anymore.
on a chase card? Make that bold prediction.
No,
That would
top
be
25.
so sick.
Top 25 is so hard. Like if he gets top 25, that would be incredible. It would not surprise me if he takes 80th out there. But I'm gonna say the course knowledge comes into play because like it requires a lot of distance at that course that he does not have. I hope those.
But he knows how to spin it.
I hope those lucid air trespasses are flying for him. But I like EMAC a lot, and I wish him all the best. So I hope he takes a top 25.
All right. Good stuff.
I think it's awesome that he's playing.
For y'all at home, the point standing on predictions, Hunter's sitting at 44 points right now, and Trevor almost has a double-digit lead. Sorry, Hunter. He's sitting at 53.
Well, he
Hunter's
took
at 44.
Paige to win last week, so he went for the bold swing for the fences.
I'm swinging for the fences again. I'm going to swing for the fences until the next
It's
major.
Paige again.
Okay.
It's Paige again.
It's not Paige. She's not here.
All right, so
I
She's
predict
at
that Paige is going to win Bonnaroo. Can I take that?
Yes.
All right. I picked Paige
wins
Pierce to win Bonnaroo.
all right, so to make sure that I don't forget this week, we're going to do our FPO predictions first.
I like that.
Hunter, what do you got for FPO, man?
I think my FPO predictions are about to be completely different from Trevor's, minus first place,
Okay.
based on things he said during this show. But first place, Kristen Tatar.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know. That was actually
Oh
my
my
bold
gosh,
prediction this
dude.
week because I think Kristen Tatar wins. Second place, Holland Handley.
Oh, man.
Here we
Pick
go
her.
again.
Here we go again.
I'm going to pick her until it works because it will eventually.
You always get stuck on
And
players like that.
Third place, I think Valerie Mandujano comes in and sneaks her way in there.
Okay.
Let's go.
Yeah, we got some different picks. I also have Kristen in first. Shocker. Second place, I'm taking Sayananda. Hot hand right now. Really, really solid over the last stretch of events. I see the potential there. I like Sayananda. So we're gonna go second Sayananda. And in third place, another player has been pretty consistent as of late and has had decent history at this course. That's Missy Gannon. I'm gonna take Missy Gannon in third.
She won like the year before last, or did she win last year?
I keep picking Missy Gannon. I keep
no,
getting
she didn't
hurt.
win last year. Missy
must have been
Gannon,
the
I
year
was
before
picking Missy
last.
Gannon early in the season,
Yeah.
wasn't doing well. The last few events has like showed me some shown me some better play and has done decent at this course in years past. I did pretty well last year in the wind and also did okay at Worlds last year. I think it was like 9th and 4th respectively, or 4th and 9th. So yeah, I'm going to go.
You're not reading the signs right. 4th and 9th means 49th.
Dang it. Val Mandujano absolutely could prove me wrong, but I think it's a little too soon to say she's going to take a top 3.
I think I saw.
Also, what is it? The FPO division is so unpredictable, so I don't know.
I think I saw Missy won in 2021. I'm just excited to watch the Thrasher fly on 18 out of 18 holes every day this weekend. That's really exciting for me. And then who's your second place? Who's your
second place is
Sayananda. Her putt,
one of the best names,
makes me like, it's smooth, but it makes me like, it just doesn't look right to me for some reason. Like it's off-putting.
It's a bit unique. Yeah. No,
but it works.
In the bucket.
Yeah, if it goes in, it's a good putt. You know how it is.
If it goes in, keep it in the basket.
That's right.
Keep it in the basket. That's what I'm saying. Trevor, we'll start with you. What about your MPO?
Yeah, MPO going pretty safe. You could say one of these picks isn't safe, but given recent history and history at this event, I don't think it's...
We might have the same top 3.
So I'm going to take Calvin to win. I think Calvin's kind of due. I think he's consistent. If the wind does pick up a little bit, I like him in the wind.
Hopefully his back's up.
And I like him a little bit more this year than the guy who you could definitely pick to win. Second place, I have Rick. And then third place, this one might sound a bit abnormal, but Aaron Gossage, very good at this event. I think he took second in the wind last year, second at Worlds, I think he was definitely top 5 at both. Well, we know he took second at Worlds.
Playoff.
And then, in the playoff. And so he's good at this course. He's a very good low ceiling player. That's something I'm learning about Aaron Gossage. Dirty low ceiling player. A lot because of his forehand, but also his backhand favors those low ceiling throws. And you need quite a few of them on this course. He also throws sneaky far. Really like Aaron Gossage.
With a 2-finger power grip.
Is that what he does?
Yeah, apparently he does. He's a 2-finger power grip.
Yeah, that makes, honestly, he just kind of looks the guy for that. But he rips his backhand, and even just recently this year, we just saw him almost win. That'll be the only thing that kind of made me hesitate is like he did just kind of choke one away a little bit. But Aaron Gossage feels very good for me. I could have picked him to win, honestly.
So I got Ricky Wysocki in third. I think you got to have him in the top 3 with the home thing effect. I have Calvin Heimberg in second.
You're going to take the Gooseman.
And I have the Gooseman winning.
I don't think he can putt in the clutch. I don't think he can putt in the clutch.
Here's the thing is he's got himself in contention and lost multiple times.
There's nowhere to go from here.
Third time's a charm.
Backs against the wall.
Like you said, he got into a playoff at Worlds.
Yeah.
Lost. Paul's not here.
Paul's not here. No, the boogeyman's not here.
Take Paul out of that field. Aaron Gossage won Worlds. So you remove Paul from this field.
That adds up.
Aaron Gossage wins DDO. Now, the real reason
he could also have PTSD from this course.
I think Aaron Gossage is very similar to Eagle, where yes, he's choking down the stretch, but he keeps getting himself in those positions, and he keeps choking down the stretch. Eventually,
become numb to it.
You become numb to it. I think he's at that point, and I think this course historically does seem forehand friendly. If you look at players that have done well here,
for sure,
and I think Aaron Gossage has become like the best. If a course is forehand friendly, go to Aaron Gossage.
He's a good combo player at this point because he's gotten it, because you can't just rely only on the forehand anymore, but he's gotten his backhand to a point where, like, combo player wise, I mean, if Aaron Gossage could putt a little bit better, man, he's good. He's become very good.
So I'm taking him to win this weekend. The other thing that could play into his favor is if the wind does pick up, putting for everyone goes down.
That is a very good point.
So I like Aaron Gossage out here. I'm going to take him to win. And it's a good news is we have the same top 3 in a different order, so I can't lose that many points either way.
Nice.
There we go.
Good stuff. What do you got for your dark horse?
Dark horse, like I just said, forehand friendly, which means lefty friendly, which means Chris Clemens.
Yeah, Clemens is a good pick. I'm actually going a very opposite train of thought. Well, yeah, not forehand player, but a distance player, and somebody who I think is a pretty decent value outside the top 30 in the world right now, because not played so hot at the beginning of the season, but has had a couple decent finishes, and that's Drew Gibson. Not somebody that I'm loving to like take this thing down or take a top 10, but I really like him like top 25. So I'm going to go with Drew.
Take a top 10.
Might regret that.
Not Chris Clemens.
Clemens will be a threat out there for sure.
Lefties, baby. Let's go. Let's get it. All right, guys. That's going to be it for us. Guys, thank you so much for being on the show. Get out this weekend and watch the Dynamic Discs Open, and we'll catch you in the next preview show. Peace.